always off track. Slay.
Oh, yeah.
Slay is like, who was this midget sitting in the seat?
You share with Slay and Ramon.
Be that he's 6'7".
As Lucas pointed out, he and Ramon both. How tall is Ramon?
I don't know.
Probably at least 6'4", 6'5", right?
He's got to be.
Should I look it up?
They are
That's
both.
probably
Yeah,
public
it's
info.
readily available on the internet. I'm sure both of their heights and measurements. But yeah, it's pretty funny when those guys are both around because it's like, oh my gosh, like here's a pro basketball player and a pro football player, lineman and power forward who are both like, whoa.
Ramon's Wikipedia has him at 6'5", 328. I don't know how accurate that is. Maybe he'll debunk
6'5",
that.
328 is what he said.
That's his Wikipedia page.
That doesn't sound incorrect. I mean, he may be less than that now because he's trying to carry around less than his lineman weight, but the 6'5" part sure seems to register with me. Injury report from yesterday. We should know who did and who didn't practice soon. The Titans basically did a walkthrough yesterday, and you couldn't go to practice. So there was an injury report, but not like the usual Jim Wyatt, John Glennon, here's who I didn't spot today. The Chiefs have more people on their injury report than Titans. Now, Titans have put a bunch of people on injured reserve, so there's just a bunch of dudes that aren't going to be on this report. But the Chiefs have more people on their injury report than the Tennessee Titans do. It's on.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Not wishing harm on anybody there for the Chiefs.
7, 8,
But
9, 10, 11.
the more Studleys that are not playing, the better.
They have 16 people on their injury report.
Oh, so they sound like us about a week or so ago.
Sure do. Tyreek Hill didn't practice. He's got a quad. How many times have we said the word quad this year?
Oh.
Just with different heck with the Titans alone.
I tell you, it's going around in the NFL this year for whatever reason. I don't know. Everybody thinks it's just the Titans. It's not just the Titans are having a lot of injuries early in the season and to key players. So anything to slow down Tyreek Hill, I'm all for it.
Yeah, quad.
Yeah, that means he may not do a backflip when he scores. That's probably about the only thing.
But when you know that, though, I would imagine being a safety who likes to hit people, you probably try to test that quad. Maybe try to get some kind of good look at the quad up close, right?
Yeah, little Birdie would have told me to try that. That's how I would make sure I knew which one, too. Yeah, man, the little thigh bruise on that quad, man, not going to help it if it's strained.
Well, you said this. You would watch guys warm up, right, to try to see, let's see what he's favoring down there.
See if he's actually favoring the quad. I don't know if Tyreek Hill's so fast. I don't know if you could really see if he's favoring something or not. He, just on the jog, you'd be like, I don't know. He looks a little gimpy, but he's still fast. Gimpy, make him at least run like a 4.3 now.
You know what's crazy, right? With that slow him down to
4.2
to a 4.3 from his normal 4.2.
That still would be faster than me. And every day. Woo, man, some of these guys. Wow.
And he's just explosive. Like he's straight line fast. He's outrun you fast, but he's go from here to here fast.
Stop in the phone booth fast, quick, and just explosive. You're right, man. He's definitely one of a kind. There's not a lot like him.
Joe Tooney, the guard, out with a hand issue. He didn't practice yesterday. Chris Jones, wrist. He was limited.
Ooh, that's who I'm talking about.
I know. You're looking out for him. Travis Kelce was limited with a neck. Limited neck.
Now, what could happen? I'm laughing because the way you said neck.
Remember, he got hit in the Buffalo game. He got plashed.
Oh, he didn't finish.
Sure.
That's right.
Because I thought,
maybe he's doing a lot of rehab on the neck. No, I bet he plays. Yeah. They're a different offense without him, that's for sure. I'm on. Oh, well, he may have fresh legs, though. But that's tough one there, man, when your neck gets stiff and you can't even turn it. You got all these electronical stems all up on your neck, your traps. Those big traps you got there over there with your voodoo
Watch out. I'll trap you with these traps. Man, I had to do a stint at the chiropractor. I don't know what happened. Age, I guess. And that stem thing where it makes your muscles wiggle.
Yeah, wiggle. He said wiggle. Like we went to wiggles. Vibrate.
Do you like that?
A little.
I mean, I know you had to survive because you had to do everything you could the last 10 years in the NFL. But, hey, just for regular people, I don't like that.
Please tell your real story after I tell this. I use that before every game and put it on my entire body.
With the sticky things?
Yes.
Oh,
I would start up top, and then they would do that for 10 minutes, and then do my back, and then do my quad, ham, all the way down. And they would laugh at me because then I would have one I could hold in my hand, and I'd use that. You have different ones you can carry with you.
Right.
Yeah, once you get injured enough, you'll know. And I've just carried them and I just kept them and put the batteries in there, and I would have those things. And that was part of my warm up, is to lay there as Takahashi. Yeah, hey, people have no idea what you're trying to do to survive. I said my entire body. You're about to tell me the wiggle as I sound vibrations.
Right here.
Tell me how you sound like you don't like it.
It feels like you're electrocuting yourself.
Yeah, because if you turn it up too loud now, it
it'll
will get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better watch out. Especially it better not be a little moisture or any of that going on, like sweat or anything. Oh, man. I'll be like, hey, turn it down. Because sometimes it gets caught and they already have it turned up for the person that was before. So I'd have two machines. Yeah, they would laugh at me.
Every game?
Yeah, every game.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I would stretch after that. And yeah, one time it got me, because I went out there and warmed up first on your own little warm-up, like at 8:30. Then I came in and tried to do it. I still had, some sweat going on. It got my neck. Hey, stop, turn it off. Yeah, they have you jumping real quick. Yeah, so and I wanted to see where I was at. Make sure those muscles, every single muscle alive in my entire body is awake. And I didn't start this when I was youngster, but about year 5, 6.
Where'd you get it?
Yeah.
Because you were observant. You'd see things that other people did.
Well, what happened was that you strain a muscle and you miss practicing, so they give you these electronic stims that you can carry, and then you just end up keeping them. And then I start using them like while we're sitting at meetings and stuff like that. And I was like, man, that really helped. I don't ever want to strain a muscle, miss a game on a strain. That was really more and then I started just doing it for the game. Because maybe one time I hurt my neck. Oh, it's tight. Put it on there. Then I was like, oh, my back is stiff. Before I put this back plaster thing on, get it loose because I had a couple herniated discs. Yeah, make sure that they was awake and firing. So that's what I'm saying. People really don't know the desperation that you're playing. That's the difference between, let's say, the SEC. Not only the talent is a notch above, but every play is like the last play of the world. Yeah. And that's why you see all this compounded injury history of a lot of players, and you're just surviving. And I think a lot of it is they're just bigger, stronger, faster, but I also don't think they understand how they have to take care of their body. I really do. And naturally, the King is something special, but he is definitely doing a lot of different things for sure to go out there and keep continually produce like that. So, because he looks like, just another day in the office every Sunday.
Oh, he
like
just jogs off the
like
field,
he didn't carry the ball
interview.
30 times and get hit by some other human beings that are great players and hitting him, and they just bouncing off of him like nothing. So that's a tribute to him and his off-season workout, as well as maintaining those things during the season with whatever he's doing.
And the people who are hitting him are not only superior athletes, they are at the peak amount they can weigh. They're at the peak as fast as they can physically run and carry themselves.
And he's making it look easy.
Right,
at times.
and he's just hitting them back and knocking them backwards or outrunning them.
Which is remarkable and phenomenal. It's really, we're spoiled because we expect to see it every game, and there's going to be some time he's just not going to be able to do that. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
There's some people in a room in Kansas City right now trying to figure out how to let him not do that.
Well, I hope they don't figure that out.
People have been running on them. Their defense has not been good.
I told you.
I know.
They have not.
But like you said,
especially the running.
Any Sunday they could wake up and go, okay, we're good today. Yeah. Like they did in the playoffs in 2019.
Yeah, it's just like the Jets woke up, and I'm not talking about the running game, but just that we're going to beat the Titans. Yeah. It happens. For whatever reason, the Titans have the Bills' number.
Yeah.
They got it. Well, Well, the last, what are they?
Last two. The Bills were
4-2 versus them. I remember the one time the kid dropped the ball in Buffalo.
Yeah.
The touchdown.
The kid who was kind of like Nick Williams.
Nick Williams.
Yeah, who dropped a touchdown. They lost a couple of games up there. They played the same week in October for the last 5 years in a row. And they lost a couple of games up there they shouldn't necessarily have lost.
But we get them here, though, for sure.
Boy, Marcus dropped it right in that dude's hands. Just right out of the sky on his hands.
Yeah, they cut that guy the next week.
And that was the end of him. I don't know if he ever played again.
Yeah. Well, I think they might have let him play one more week, but he seemed like he had lost a little bit of confidence because he got ripped for, he was a role player too. But you got to catch that one.
Especially when you're a role player. Here's your chance.
Yeah.
because of injuries or attrition
It
or
was
opportunity.
a tough catch, but he had
You
it
were
was-
the guy who got the chance.
Yeah.
And for a lot of those guys, they make that play that boosts their confidence. Like
Yeah.
Nick Westbrook-Akina,
Mm-hmm.
he's made a couple of plays. His confidence, that dude seems to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I still don't like the way he's catching the ball, but yeah, he's
Like,
catching it.
Yeah.
He's and the
catching
reason why I
like
keep
a
saying that is
DB.
because he's catching it like I would catch it. That's not smooth. It doesn't look natural. It looks like he's not catching and extending his arms away from his body. They're always close to his body.
Yeah.
No, most receivers are catching it out here with their
Snatch it.
extension, especially with the length that he has. He's not a short fella now. He's pretty tall. What is he? 6'2", 6'3"? Yeah, well, for a receiver. So yeah, but he's getting it done.
He is.
Hats off to him. He's making the most opportunity. I saw, someone wrote an article. I can't remember. It might have been Glennon. That he knows all three positions. A receiver. Guess what, guys? That's how you get on the football field.
Right.
Yeah.
He also makes tackles on special teams, too.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I do?
And players on the team that are starters respect the heck out of dudes like that, man.
Yeah.
They do, because they know how hard they fought just to get to this spot and to get an opportunity. And it came through with somebody being injured. And then they made the most of it. And so those guys like that, you pat them on the back, man, and say, thank you. Because guess what? If he drops those, then they might have lost the game. They might have got a couple of those first downs in the fourth quarter with Julio Jones on the sideline.
Yep.
Yeah. So his confidence is growing, and that's good for him, but probably bad for the Titans whenever he's a free agent. But yeah.
Yeah, making money. Chuck's been on hold here. He wants to talk some of this injury stuff, it sounds like. Chuck in Clarksville. What's going on, Chuck?
Electronical stem.
Yeah. You have any electronical stem, Chuck?
Injuries and everything.
Yeah.
Do we have to maybe take a look at our training and training staff about how we're dealing with these guys during the week? Because if it'd be me, I'd have one of those TENS units in a sleeve on both of Julio's legs and AJ's legs all week long, keeping that hamstring nice and loose and keep it moving all week. And then on the same thing at the games, I'd have it on until right before game time and have it on during halftime just to keep him from not getting that tight hamstring. But it just seems like the athletes today, they're concerned. They're doing a great job. I mean, Derrick Henry and all of them. I mean, they probably got 5-6%, maybe 8% body fat. But it's also creating, a lot of pull muscles, tense muscles and tight muscles too, by having that being that lean. So I don't know if we may have to look at, like Blaine's talking about having them with them electronic TENS units during the week, making sure those hamstrings and muscles are looser.
Chuck, thank you for the phone call. Yeah, I mean, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster than they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
The human frame is carried more weight faster than it's ever carried it.
And I think, we all are looking at, and I get it, training and staff and everything else. I don't think it has anything to do with the Titans. I think the Titans are doing just as much as they've done, even more than before. I think it's just what you're talking about, the size, and then these guys are more susceptible to injuries. It's across the league now.
Yep. Look at that. She's got 16 people in their injury report.
The Browns are decimated tonight.
They lost both their running backs, both their tackles, quarterback. I mean, you just now I'm not saying I don't know all of their injuries as far as strains. I know what's the name is his calf, the running back, but I think they're doing everything they can. Especially once you get that strain, it's hard to really eliminate it. It could just come back at any time.
Yeah.
You got to rest and rehab is just only recipe, and then pray. I said I didn't strain myself. I wasn't fast enough to do all that. Yeah, once I got my muscle, oh man, good Lord, come on, I'm not even fast like that.
You were on that stem machine. Hey, we'll
my
talk
whole
Chiefs. Two machines. Poor Takahashi out there with you, two machines hooked up. Jay Binkley from 610 Sports Radio Kansas City set to join us next. He's the post-game guy for the Chiefs. We got to get to the bottom of what's going on with KC. We'll do that next on Blaine and Mickey.
From the snap count to a touchdown pass to the finger roll, Ryan Tannehill plays here.
What an effort, Ryan Tannehill. That dude is a competitor.
Your home for every Titans game. 104.5 The Zone.
What's going on in KC these days? How's the barbecue?
Hey, you know what? Just had some just a little bit ago, to be honest with you. It's just what we do, kind of. But,
man.
yeah, great weather, fall weather. But how you guys doing? You ready for some football?
And we're always ready. I have to ask you this because sometimes Titans fans like to come when the Titans play the Chiefs there. Which barbecue place do you recommend? Because I know it's like anywhere. People have their favorites.
You know what? It's one of those things. Everybody's got, you ask 10 different people, you get 10 different places. I mean, it's one of those. I'd give you, a few names you got to check out, like Joe's in the old gas station. That's kind of real popular here, and Q39, the Jack Stack, the Gates, you name it. It's one of those things. I wish they'd all get together and have the all-star, best ribs, best meat, get everybody together and the best dishes they have, and let's get an all-star restaurant and put them all together.
Well, I've been to just about. I have not been to Joe's in the gas station. I've been to all the other places you named, and I found something that I truly liked at all of them. I have to tell you, we went to Q39 after the Chiefs eliminated the Titans. There were some sad Titans fans, but some really happy Chiefs fans last year.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that one too. But I got a list, and I'll be happy to email it to you. I got a list of some off the wall things you hadn't heard of that need to be added to the list. Those are some of the harder to find ones. Are some of the best ones. You know what I mean?
That's the way it always goes. Jay Binkley, our guest, he's got the greatest Twitter handle in the world. It's at 3guysinagarage. Before I pass you over to the hitman Blaine Bishop, I'm not surprised to hear there's good barbecue all over Kansas City, but I am real surprised that the Chiefs started 3-3. What all has gone into this?
You know what? It's been a lot of things, to be honest with you. But if you just wanted to really narrow it down, and I'm sure Blaine tell you too, turnovers. I mean, I don't care how good your offense is, or in the Chiefs' case, how bad the defense is. You turn the ball over when you're driving on the Ravens. You're down to their 34-yard line. Easy kick to win a game, and you fumble the football over. The plus-minus for the Chiefs is nowhere near where Andy Reid's teams usually are, usually in the plus category, but Chiefs second to last in turnover ratio. And I know people are pinning a lot of these interceptions on Mahomes. They like to talk about his interceptions, but not the fact he leads the NFL in touchdowns. He's got 3 of them that went through a wide receiver's hands. I mean, hit him right in the hand. It bounced off and was intercepted. So there's been that problem too, and him trying to force the ball in maybe a little too much when the defense is giving up so many plays. But the offense is still great. I mean, they're averaging 3.7 points per drive, which is the largest total in the National Football League. It's almost on a historical pace. They minimize it. They had the fewest drives in the NFL, but they maximize it with the fewest points. I mean, they're getting over 3 points per time they touch the football, which is incredible in the National Football League. The defense has been pretty equally as bad as what the offense has been. But just to sum it up, turnovers cost them the Chargers game, and it cost them the Ravens game, because despite those teams doing whatever they wanted to offensively against the Chiefs are right there to win the games despite that fact.
With Jay Binkley, he is at 3 Guys in a Garage, the number 3, 610 Sports Radio, Kansas City, doing post-game for the Chiefs and all kinds of other stuff.
Well, Jay, man, I'm interested in if the Chiefs had figured everything out now in the second half after their defeat of the Washington football team.
I think so. Last week, and I saw this defense up in training camp, and I was excited about it. I saw them play the Cardinals in preseason. I know it was preseason football, but it was a game in which the Chiefs played their starters for most of the half. The Cardinals did too. The Cardinals didn't even pick up a first down until the end of the second quarter, and it was the same group, Kyler Murray and them. I was like, all right, this defense may have some juice to it. But then when the regular season starts, they don't. They've been without Chris Jones most of the year. They've been without Frank Clark most of the year. Finally, this will be the second time this weekend where they actually play together on the same defensive line. It's been a problem with it, but that's been the surprising thing was this defense so far. But they came together in that Washington game. They only gave up 76 yards in the second half. They held Washington to 13 points. They averaged near 25 points a game. It was the lowest total on the season for Washington. And the game before against Buffalo, first half they were bad. Second half, they forced 3 straight punts in the second half. It's trended good. They only gave up 1 touchdown last week. They trended much better on that scale as far as what the Chiefs kind of expected for this defense this year. Really slow start, of course, for this defense, but they've gradually climbed from 32nd worst defense down to 28th, and the worst run defense. The Chargers own that category now, and now they're down to 27th. They don't have to be the best on defense in the world. You would hope they'd be somewhere around 18 to 20th, considering what this offense is, but they're not. But they had a game a couple years ago, the year they won the Super Bowl against the Chargers. They lost to Tennessee. It was that game in which the Tennessee Titans beat them. Chiefs go to Mexico City to play the Chargers. We're outgained in the first half, 312 to 109. Chiefs flipped the switch, only 126 yards for the Chargers in the second half, and then that defense carried it through for the rest of the season. A lot of that same mindset is kind of going into where the Chiefs played Washington last week. Terrible in the first half, kind of fixed things. Andy Reid said, enough's enough. That's what he said after the game. He said, enough's enough. And so they've kind of been going with that motto.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of for the Titans fans, that they're going to wake up and all of a sudden they're going to play really well like they did and went on that run, as you mentioned, on the Super Bowl. Because I'm trying to figure out, what is my man, I played for Andy Reid as well as Spagnuolo was my DB coach when I was in Philly, the safeties coach at the time. And I'm afraid that they're going to figure it out. Is it more based off of injuries, why they haven't come together, or guys just not performing? I'm thinking of injuries to Jones, and then I'm thinking the play of Sorensen when I watch him. I don't know if he's still going to be the starter or not.
Well, you know what, Blaine, they benched him at safety. I mean, it's a guy that did help him through the Super Bowl run. He missed 9 tackles this year. Quarterbacks had 158 rating on him. I mean, he was rated 83 out of 85 safeties. They made that switch last week and went to the younger safety, Juan Thornhill, who's been on this team for a couple of years, but he's back to being the starter back there with Tyrann Mathieu. So safety-wise, they're actually doing pretty well. They drafted Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri, who leads all National Football League rookies. The guy that's really been shining is Trey Smith from the University of Tennessee that they drafted on that offensive line, and he's been fantastic for it. But things are starting to come together. It's the same coaching staff. Like, it's what you don't see. Like, usually when a team wins, different guys are taken. Look at Belichick and all the assistants he's lost. Eric Bieniemy's still here. Mike Kafka's still here. Andy Reid's still here. Steve Spagnuolo's still here. Sam Madison, Dave Merritt. I mean,
Rick Bohalter as a trainer,
guys,
too.
Huh?
Yeah, Rick Bohalter as a trainer, too. He was a trainer in Philly as well.
Same group of guys, man. It's weird because usually these guys get taken. You don't see a group go to 3 straight AFC title games, 2 straight Super Bowls, yet the same coaching staff has stayed intact. But, yeah, they're getting a few guys back. Obviously, they're starting corner Shavarius Ward hasn't played in the last couple of weeks. Looks like Chris Jones going to be a go. But mindset-wise, the mentality, just the message, the Mahomes, the rest of them, they're talking about enough is enough. They're tired of just giving away games. They beat themselves, quite honestly. They should have 2 more wins than what they do, and they know that.
Well, Jay, do you think, you're talking about keeping the staffs together, that Eric Bieniemy is actually, there's rumors that he's going to, be interested in the Las Vegas Raiders job, and that would be an opponent that you guys play twice a year, and that he would have a leg up on knowing also what the Chiefs like to do, or Andy Reid. Do you think he'll ever get that opportunity, or with an opportunity with the Raiders?
Yeah, I'm shocked he's still in Kansas City. I'm shocked the NFL. I'm shocked the Chargers didn't go that direction. After all, Eric Bieniemy from that area. He played for the Chargers in the Super Bowl. He's been here ever since Andy Reid stepped foot here in 2013. He's won a Super Bowl. I mean, what more does he need to do to be a head coach? Yeah, the Raiders would be attractive, I think, for him, because there's a lot of pieces on that roster I like. I'm not sold on the quarterback situation with Derek Carr, but I will say this. If Urban Meyer, ends up leaving Jacksonville, it doesn't work out for him in Jacksonville, Eric Bieniemy, they ought to look at Jacksonville only so he could be paired with a young quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. I think that would actually be the best fit. Plus, he'd get out of the division with Andy Reid.
Well, with Jay Binkley, 610 Sports Radio in Kansas City.
Jay, we've been just amazed at the Titans' injury reports. It's read like a who's who of people on the Titans. This is a real thing. This is a real thing that happened yesterday. The Chiefs' injury report had more people on it than the Titans. We just marveled at that. The poor Chiefs, they're worse off than the Titans right now.
You know what's weird is it was game 3, and there wasn't anybody on it. It was like a clean injury. I've never seen anything like it. It was the Friday before the game. There was not one designation, and now all of a sudden everybody's kind of getting banged up. But I'm looking at that game tonight. Cleveland Browns. 98% of their offense is not playing in this game. I mean, he's injury report, and I'm not going to say anything, but the Ravens, they've lost more people than anybody. But the Chiefs' injury reports come out looking like a laundry list, hasn't it?
It sure has. I know Chris Jones has been banged up, maybe a wrist, and he's a guy that can really wreck shop and can cause problems for Derrick Henry and for Ryan Tannehill. And you kind of casually mentioned he was back. And do you think he plays this week?
Yeah, I think he does. It's been a wrist injury the last couple of weeks. He's an interesting guy. You know, he's a guy that got 15 and a half sacks a couple years ago. You know, a lot of people look at him as, you know, second most dominating interior pass rusher next to Aaron Donald. And then he lost some weight. The Chiefs were going to move him to the outside. They bring in Jaron Reed for the defensive line. It hasn't worked out yet. The experiment's not worked out because Chris Jones been playing defensive end when he really made his way in the National Football League as an All-Pro and everything else playing inside. And I think that transition, you know, from outside going that three technique or from the three technique defensive end has been kind of tough on him. The guy can be dominant. We all know how good Chris Jones can be, but he was dancing around at practice yesterday. He wasn't full participant, but I do expect him to play on Sunday.
What's going on with Frank Clark?
It's been tough to get Frank going.
Whoa. What do you mean get going? They didn't pay him enough or something? What do you mean, Jay?
Hey, listen. I talked about this. I was on this morning for show, and someone brought it up and said, "What's Frank Clark done?" I said, "I know he's making a lot of money, right? Yeah. He's making a lot of money, but he helped you win a Super Bowl. Like Frank was a big part of the Chiefs down the stretch. They won a Super Bowl. He got 5 sacks in that postseason. He basically helped shut down Derrick Henry in that playoff game. I don't think they win the Super Bowl if not for the efforts of guys like Frank Clark. So he hasn't been doing anything since then. Did get 2 quarterback hits last week. But again, I know he gets paid a lot of money, and I know it's over $100 million. But what's the price of a Super Bowl ring, and what's the price of a banner that will fly forever? Guys, we've been 50 years since we went to that big game. It's been since 1970. Most of us weren't even alive back then the last time they went to Super Bowl. So, wasn't my money. So I was like, all right, that's fine. We'll pay it.
Oh, my. We're on with Jay Binkley. He is at 3 Guys in a Garage, 610 Sports Radio, Kansas City.
Well, Jay, the only question I have, how do you see this game playing out? What do you think is going to happen?
You know, I mean, if we were just going to go look off the paper and say, oh, you know, the Chiefs can't stop the run, Titans run. Titans, they struggle in the bottom third against the pass. Chiefs love the pass. It'll be a high-scoring game. But sometimes that's not how football works out. You expect certain things. And Derrick Henry has had success most of the time against the Chiefs, except for that one playoff game. And he might have been running out of steam at that point. I mean, he had 83 carries that postseason. The Chiefs saw him there at the end. So, you know, I don't know how much, you know, energy he had left by the time because he was on a mission ever since that Chiefs game. I think it'll be extremely close. I think this game's won by a field goal. I think the Chiefs are ticked off enough at the way things are going. I think they're upset with the national media completely crushing them and Patrick Mahomes without looking at the picks going through wide receivers' hands. And, yeah, he threw an embarrassing interception last week. That happens. But just the mindset and people ready to turn the page on the Chiefs. And I say, hey, look at the AFC. The Baltimore Ravens have issues. They may have one loss. Chiefs gave them the game. They had a 66-yard Justin Tucker field goal to beat the Detroit Lions, right? Yeah. The Chargers have the worst run defense in the NFL. They also lost 34-6. Patrick Mahomes has lost 2 games in his entire career, and one of them was this year against Buffalo by more than 1 score, more than 1 possession. He has been in every game that close. I expect him to be in this game. I think the Chiefs are a little bit miffed. I think they got a little bit of their chip on their shoulder. They went from the hunter to last year being the hunted. And this year I feel like they've kind of switched into hunter role when everybody's kind of against them, power rankings, what's wrong with the Chiefs, blah, blah, blah. They're still right up there at the top of the AFC.
Good stuff, Jay.
Hey, on the way out, I just want to ask you this because we see it, and the Titans, Jay, they send us these supplemental notes every week, and it's like Derrick Henry and Superman and Jesus are the only 3 people who've ever done this. And then the next week it's like, you know, Derrick Henry is the only human. There's one guy on Mars that did it.
Yeah. Or Jim Brown.
Or Jim Brown, who's the guy from Mars. What do people outside of Nashville think when they see Derrick Henry?
You know what? I'll be honest with you guys. If he was going to fight Chuck Norris in his heyday, I'd take Derrick Henry. I'll be honest with you. I mean, the Chiefs have so much respect for Derrick Henry. Patrick Mahomes yesterday was calling him one of the best of all time. Andy Reid was talking about what a great person, great runner Derrick Henry is. I brought it up as a show topic. I said, is Derrick Henry the best non-quarterback in the NFL? Because I won't hear any other – I hear Devontae Adams and I hear all this. I say, yeah, but if he sits out, they're probably still going to win the game with Aaron Rodgers. Like Derrick Henry, you know, having the second most receptions. I know that the Titans too tight at 17. He's got 16. But being 260 yards above everybody else in the National Football League, the way they can turn over a game, I don't know what you guys think, but honestly, from the outside looking in, I consider him the best non-quarterback in the NFL. I mean, to be honest with you, those are MVP-type things he's doing.
And it's funny because that dude can't even sniff. Like, you look at the odds every week. We found a list of 9 last week, and he was not in the 9. Now, I haven't looked again this week, but zero talk about him getting the MVP amongst betting houses that I've seen.
I'm not voting in that, or it'd be different.
Hey, Jay, this was fantastic stuff, man. We appreciate it so much. People need to follow you at number 3 Guys in a Garage, of course, with the great crew at 610 Sports Radio in Kansas City, and also doing the Chiefs post game. Thank you, man. It was awesome talking to you.
Appreciate
you guys take care, man. Enjoy it. Take care.
Yes, sir. Jay Binkley right there. I think we were both going to ask him about Trey Smith. He just offered that.
Yeah. I was interested because I knew he was starting, so I knew he was doing pretty good. But how good?
Apparently, their problems on the offensive line are not on the interior where he is as a rookie. It's it's still the tackles where they replaced guys who'd been part of their run, but apparently no problems with the rookie out of Tennessee. There you go. Didn't even have to ask. He just offered up that information. When we come back, Belmont's getting ready to start college basketball. The season is underway. I saw that. I have to ask Casey Alexander. He's going to join us next. I saw a bizarre fact about this team that I've never seen listed about a local team before. I'm going to ask him this, and we'll talk to Casey Alexander of Belmont basketball next.
Can't wait.
J. Martin Ramon.
Oh, man, we appreciate you, brother. Keep on rolling.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Indeed. That's oh, Lord. I just sniped him. Ola, did you snipe him? Ola, you're back. Say what you were saying there at the end. I'm sorry.
Man, I wanted to say tighten up, man.
There you go.
Tomorrow from 6 to 10 on 104.5 The Zone.
Brent Doherty here to tell you about a new mobile brake repair service I'm really excited about called New Brakes.
I teased this on the other side. I saw this about your team. Tell me if this is true. This is it in quotes, Casey. It says, oldest team in the country. Do you have the oldest team in the country?
I feel like the oldest coach in the country right now, going through the middle of preseason. I don't know who puts those facts together, but we are old, no doubt about that, and that's a good place to be in this business.
Well, when you're old, though, that means you got the potential to be real young next year. So it sounds like you got a heck of an opportunity. And here's my question. If you got all these experienced guys who are really good and you have a bunch of really experienced guys who are really good, how do you find time to give the young guys enough playing time to make sure that you keep things going well? How do you balance that?
Yeah, there's no doubt it's a challenge. And honestly, beyond just this year, I mean, I think it's always been a real key to our success is to have, we have very little turnover in our program. Almost nobody is transferred out of here. So we've always got guys, even if they haven't played a lot, that have been in the program for a while. And that's what you want, is that kind of continuity, cohesiveness, where it can seemingly flow from one year to the next. But we have a unique challenge this year, to say the least, with, not just experience, but I mean, we have 5 fifth-year seniors on our roster, and 4 of those guys have started, virtually every game of their career, and so so it's a delicate balance, and but it's a good challenge to have.
Sure is. Good problem to have. The oldest team in the country, their coach, Casey Alexander of Belmont, joins us now on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, I'm sure Coach Alexander would say that's experience, right, Coach? So I guess following that, then, how do you, I guess, keep your guys from getting complacent? And I'm saying that in that they know the offense, they know the defensive scheme, so to keep it, light and exciting and fresh. How do you do that with a team with that kind of experience?
Yeah, we've put a lot of thought into that, Blaine. I mean, and it is a real delicate balance to make sure that we're getting better every day, but to keep the big picture in mind. I mean, this, like all seasons, it's long, and we're not gonna know really how good we are until March, and so and that's when we need to be playing our best, but. What it allows us to do is, we're much farther along just with X's and O's and, and having a total package in, so that's comforting. But at the same time, it is definitely important that we don't require too much, that that they love coming to the gym every day and trying to get better. I just told them on Tuesday we were 3 weeks away from our first game. And I said, guys, there's almost nothing that's going to come new in the next 3 weeks, so the measure of how much better we get is largely going to be on an individual basis, and how many mistakes you cut down on individually, how much harder you can practice, how you play through fatigue better, those kinds of things. And then, if you do that individually, then collectively we'll be better. But it really is a pretty simple formula for us right now.
It's always great to get recognized preseason-wise, being a top 25 team as well as the women's as well. But, the next step, Coach, is make that big, huge run, as you mentioned, in the tournament, man. How do you guys, settle your guys down and make sure they don't get too excited like the tournament is in 3 weeks, instead just the beginning of the season?
Yeah, well, that's hard, and the truth is, we got to get to the tournament first. We had a great year last year, but we fizzled down the stretch. In the last 10 days, we lost 3 out of our final 5 games, and we didn't make it to the postseason. And so it's not easy just to get there. And then when you get there, you're playing a top 25 team. And so to win games is a tougher challenge than you would think. So, so I'll bring out the coach speak and, the cliche answer at this point, because it truly is what's most important. And that is, let's just control what's right in front of us, and let's try to make today a good one. And if we can add a lot of those up between now and March, then, then March is going to go a lot more, will go our way a lot easier.
We're on with men's Belmont basketball coach, Casey Alexander.
Casey, you kind of hinted this about what you know about your team by the time you get to March. It seems like I remember asking Rick Bird a similar question. Like, at what point do you feel like you have a handle on a team and you really know, let's say for this word, the personality of the team? Since you've had some of these guys for so long, do you kind of feel like you have a better handle of that even at the start of the year this year? Or will this team still have some personality traits and things maybe you don't know yet?
Yeah, well, I definitely am. We're much farther along at this point than ever before. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of experience and having so many guys that have been on the roster for a while. So, I think our personality is and our identity is very well established, and And again, that's something that at this stage of the year, coaches can't always say. You don't really know how it's going to work out, or you don't know who's going to play, or who's going to step up, and who's going to next man up kind of thing. So we've got a lot of that covered, and that's really good. But basketball season, I mean, it's different than football. I mean, we're playing 2 or 3 games a week. We've got 30-something regular season games, and injuries become a big part of the season, as with every sport. And so there's still a ton that's going to come our way that we cannot prepare for. And how we respond in those moments will be really important. And again, another reason why experience should be valuable to us.
I wanted to ask you this. Bob Huggins, who's been a fantastic basketball coach for decades in the sport, was doing a press conference, and he got going down this road, and he essentially said that it's time for the Power Five to just break off and do their own basketball tournament. He said, we should get the same piece of the pie that the football guys do. They've got their own thing. To me, you're missing the whole point. The thing that makes the NCAA basketball tournament what it is that literally 300-plus teams have a chance to make it and to get there and make noise. I love Huggy Bear as a coach, but I don't think he could be any more wrong than what he is about this.
Yeah, I got several responses to that. One, I agree with you in a sense that it is the beauty of our game. Two, it's a billion-dollar business that I think would be, I don't think it would be nearly as strong if it's just those Power Five guys. And then you've got, I mean, how are you going to tell Gonzaga they're not a part of that?
Right.
Or how are you going to tell the Big East, who over the last 5 years has kind of been maybe the second or third best conference overall in the last, since they've reformed and so forth. And so there's too much out there, as outliers, and it's just not quite that simple. I mean, everybody can understand this logic, and from a financial perspective, the big boys have felt like they're carrying the rest of us for a long time now. But it's very different than football in the sense that, as you mentioned, the beauty of our game is that there are a lot of teams that can do a lot of damage. I mean, you look at the Final Four in the last 15 years, Final Four alone, Butler's been there twice, George Mason's been there, VCU's been there, and more. Loyola's been there. There's been a lot of teams that have had great years that aren't in that level.
Well, I know you guys are getting ready to get started. You got one of Blaine's MAC teams coming up, November 9th. You got to go to Ohio, huh? You probably going to have to pack a jacket up there. It's going to be cold.
Yeah, and they're good. And there's another example for you. I mean, they have a great finish to their season last year. They win their first round game in the NCAA tournament. Ohio's a really strong program overall. If the guys up that way can't go to Ohio, sometimes they go to Ball State and places like that. But Ohio's usually pretty good.
Thanks for giving us that plug there for Ball State. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, just do not play my school anytime soon. Right? Yes, do not play Arkansas State because I don't want to see what happens. That's happened soon enough in my life. Hey, we wish you guys the best. I still have not gotten a tour of that new facility. I got to come check that thing out. Blaine and me need to come walk it and get the 25-cent tour with you, Coach.
Yeah, please do. Come on anytime. We'd love to have you.
We'll do it. Casey Alexander, he is at Casey Alexander _ Belmont, about to get underway with a basketball season. Again, we'll say the most experienced team in the country. Thanks for the time today, Coach. We will come back with hour number 2 of the show coming up. Doug Mathews, talk Vols and Alabama. That's in about 25 minutes here on Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday night means the weekend as the Broncos are in Cleveland against the Browns. Coverage starts tonight at 7 on your home for Thursday night football. 104.5 The Zone.
This is Jim Rome with the CBS Sports Minute. Dodger fans, I hate to do it, but they do pay me to do it, so here it is. Let me ask you the same question I asked you about 24 hours ago. How y'all living right now? In fact, I already know the answer. Pretty horribly, I'm guessing. Because for all that talk of Cody Bellinger possibly flipping the NLCS on its head in Game 3,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Don't nobody care about it. It went through his hand. It's an interception on Mahomes.
Yeah, 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, he's not MVP this year. No. Is that what happened?
I know you know Andy Reid. Hey, he's got to be looking at the Titans roster right now and saying, okay, so Christian Fulton's not around? Oh, Farley's hurt too, huh? He just started playing. He's hurt again, huh?
Oh, no. He's out for the year.
Yeah. So I'm just going to throw 8 million 6-yard passes. All the 6-yard. It's going to be just like a who's who of 6-yard passes.
And then he's going to go double move you over the top. And then you'll be scared out your you know what after that. Mm-hmm. Because then the coaches will be up there hollering, what are you doing? You know, the way they go, they'll yank you. They may not have another option. They may have to keep him out there. They may have to trade for somebody. A lot of people talking about that.
Yeah. We had Jordan DeJohnny on with us yesterday, and he brought up an article by Bill Barnwell of ESPN. Let's ask you this. At Blaine and Mickey on Twitter, you can answer us there. Call us, 615-737-1045. That's the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. This is what Bill Barnwell says. Possible trade for the Titans-Dolphins. He talks about the Titans going all in. I will say this. Derrick Henry's the best player you got. How much longer can one human being run for 2,000 yards every year? I mean, maybe he can do it longer than other people, but he can't do it forever.
No.
They don't last forever. So your window, I would think, is as long as your best player is playing his best, and that's happening right now. It's happening right now. This is what Bill Barnwell said, essentially, was go all in, get the disgruntled cornerback, Xavier Howard. He said the Titans should make a trade. They should get Xavier Howard and a 2022 second-round pick. Remember, they lost the 2022 second-rounder for Julio. They would get that one back, trade them your 2022 first-round pick, and then the Dolphins get your 2023 second-round pick. So you essentially swap second-rounders and a first-rounder for Xavier Howard. Where are you on that? Xavier Howard.
And I like Xavier Howard, by the way. Really good player. I don't like giving up a first rounder for a cornerback. I'd give up, third or fourth or fifth or sixth. Maybe not for him, but for a quality player. My mindset's a little different, and I don't think you have to have elite cornerbacks to be successful in this league and go on a Super Bowl run. And I say that, just look at Tampa Bay. Can you name one of them? I can't. Not the cornerbacks. I can name the safety, but I can't name the cornerback. But guess what I can name? Their front four that got after the quarterback. So I would approach this a little bit differently. I'd get maybe a journeyman or someone that's available. I know they're talking about Fuller from the Denver Broncos now. He was with the Bears. We do know the Fullers pretty well. They had one play here. They are related.
No, yeah, that's right.
Never-ending
supply of Fullers.
If you want to give up a fifth or sixth, and I know JR likes a lot of those picks, but I would do something like that along those lines. I would have signed, which he's already signed now. I would have went after another pass rusher. I would have went after Whitley, Merciless.
Yeah. And you know him. You coached
why I asked
him.
Coach Mack that, and Mack said, no, we need a corner. No, your corner's only as good as your pass rush. And guess what? Even if you have a really good corner, he's still going to get beat. So why get a trade for a corner unless you have pass rush? So I'm digging deep into that again in my rotation. And you knew him, and it wouldn't have cost you a lot probably. I don't know. He wanted to go to a winner. So what does that say about the Titans and what he thinks of the Titans?
His former DC, yeah, Mike Vrabel.
He said that, yeah. So I kind of would have went maybe that route. I know they're in desperation time, but there's some, I like the Maben move. That's a depth piece that knows your playbook. You had him last year during the COVID. And he's a quality, sub player. So I wouldn't be panicking. I don't think they're in the move to quickly, but I would be thinking more pass rush. Mm-hmm. Guess what? And also can give me more time, buy me more time for my big price off-season acquisition in Bud Dupree for rest and not take on the onus of trying to just get back out there being a competitor that he is sooner than later. Yeah. And then it wouldn't have cost him a lot. I'm sure he didn't. I mean, I don't know what he's saying. Went to Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he signed some mega long-term. It might have been a one-year deal. Maybe wrong on that, but yeah, I would have done something like that.
I said all off season, and I agree with you. I I said this all off season. The key to me with how they do on defense has everything to do with the pass rush and how they affect the quarterback.
And the pass rush is doing well, but you still want another piece. Hey, man, that guy can play outside, inside, or you can drop, another guy, move him inside. I mean, they're just they're pieces to the puzzle, and you just and I go sign another veteran type backup DB. They're out there.
Yeah.
Other things to take into note is, okay, does he know our scheme? How quickly can he pick it up if he doesn't? How much do we know him? Have we worked with him on other staffs? Members of your staff work with him at other places. That all comes into play. But ultimately, his skill set is what you're looking for. And they have some guys they can move up to. So I don't think they're as pressed as most. But I might have been for one more pass rush. I know the pass rush looked good, but I want to continue to just go after that pass rush, man. I love that because in this passing league, you're not going to be able to shut down anybody. That's just a fact. So Xavier Howard, as much as I love him, I wouldn't give up a first-round pick for him.
You know his contract details? The contract member he doesn't like?
Well, he redid it, didn't they? They just redid it before in the training camp because he held out. What is he making, $16 million, I'm guessing?
This year, his cash amount is $13.7. His cap hit is right about 16, or it's 15 something.
Okay.
Here's what he makes $12 million this year. That's his base salary.
Then it jumps up.
So it's like, okay, when this works, somebody trades somebody to you. That team eats the dead cap hit, but then you get his salary, right. That person's salary going forward. So base salary next year, $12,975 for Xavier Howard. The next year, $11,400, and then the next year, $11,650. He's 3 more years under contract.
No, I don't think that's right. They redid. He held out. If he's making $11 million, I think you put all your chips at the table. But they redid it. He held out in training camp, and they redid it, or I'm assuming they did because he came to camp.
Yeah, this is his current deal on Spot Track. Oh. So however they redid it, this is how it landed.
Oh, yeah, well, he's only making like $12 million.
$12 million.
And I have him in my top 10 cornerbacks.
$12 million. And it's the average of 12. You could just say
maybe my top 5.
In 2022, he's going to make 13, but the next year he makes 11.4 and 11.6. So the average is about 12. 12 million. That's about the average.
I'm still not giving up a first round, but that is, I'm cool with that.
And the Fuller dude's done after this year.
But they didn't even go after Gilmore. So that tells you what they were thinking. Now, I know he was trying to get, $16 million or somewhere where he was up there, man. But I mean, defensive player of the year. So I get it.
Yeah.
But you were coming off an injury, and you're getting up there in age, so, they work with us. And they did, he still hadn't hit the field yet with the Panthers. That's a good little deal there. $12 million for an elite corner?
Yeah.
Not bad. I just want to make sure he's happy.
And Fuller, remember, he had signed a deal with the Bears in like 2018. He got cut. So the Broncos signed him for 1 year. So you only have Fuller for the rest of this year. So he is the true definition. He would be a rental if you got him.
Yeah, and that's why I said 5th, 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get Howard. I don't think they're thinking they need a sense of urgency to get a cornerback at that price.
Yeah.
For a first-round pick. No.
Wouldn't be surprised to see them make some kind of a move somewhere for a depth guy.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, not a first round trade for a guy.
No,
but a depth guy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's some people out there, Blaine, who would be like, "Hey, man, is he injured? No. Well, that's what we've been doing with first round picks, drafting injured guys. Been signing big injured free agent contract guys. Yeah, Xavier Howard, everything work on him." That's fine with me.
Everything work on him.
Everything work. Hey, man, run.
You act like he was a machine.
Yeah.
Does everything work?
Run. Let me see how you can run. Hey, everything works. He works. These work. Let's get him. But, I mean, the bottom line is this. You still drafted Molden and Farley. Jackrabbit's under contract for another year. His cap hit next year.
He's under contract for another year?
It's a 2-year deal. I looked. His cap hit next
year. It was a 1-year deal.
No, it's 2. And if you –
we got Jack and Rabbit on that one.
His contract next year is $10 million cap hit. And if you cut him, you still have a $3 million dead cap hit for him to not be on the team. It costs you $3 million for him to not be on the team.
Yeah, as I said before, there was a reason why he was out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, he got a 2-year deal.
New Orleans, as much as he makes plays on the ball, he also gets flagged. And you go look up his history. Said that in the beginning. I wasn't here's what I was thinking. He's not better than Malcolm Butler. You could say, oh, he's faster. He does it. No, he's not a better player. He's not. That's what it is. So, I thought he only signed like a 1 year, $7 million deal. So
it was
he got two-year, $14 million.
It was a 2-year deal.
Oh.
I looked before we came on the air today out of sheer morbid curiosity. I thought, what's the deal with Jackrabbit?
Well, to his credit, though, he so far is the second best corner on the team behind Fulton. Second-year player. But, I mean, that's how desperate they are for cornerbacks, to your point, and they may make a trade. Yeah.
His base salary next year is $6 million. His cap hit is 10.2. If you cut him, you would save $7 million and have 3.2 in dead cap hit next year. He signed a 2-year deal
for number 2. So they're getting a bargain.
Oh no, that's good money for a number 2, but just need that rascal to
be a little more consistent.
He's got to hold the end of the rope right now, especially. I'll save this for the last segment. Just looking at the Bills chart, Kansas City's going to look a lot like what the Bills did against them. Like there's going to be 12 guys that catch a ball. I mean, they're going to throw it to everybody. Yeah. Everybody's going to have Anyway, we can get into that in the last segment. But let's get Doug Mathews next. We'll talk some Tennessee Vols and Alabama Crimson Tide next on Blaine and Mickey.
The 3HL with Brett Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay.
Here's the deal. We're so spoiled because we watch Derrick Henry every single weekend, and we forget how freaking fast that dude is.
And what did I say all season on these videos?
Derrick Henry, I believe, slowed down a little bit too in order to give him the stiff arm. Then when he saw him, when he saw it, he was like, darn, dude. And
it was like swatting a flea.
I'll go bunk over that.
Today, starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
do it myself until I mess it up and have to call an expert.
I stopped all that when my grass was the color of this mellow yellow right here.
Hey, Coach, one of these days I want this UT Bama week to get everybody fired up like it used to. You know, once upon a time, you circled this game on the national calendar every year, and I know both fan bases still do. But let me ask you this. What is your favorite UT Alabama memory? Because I know you've been a part of a few of these.
Well, that I'll go to the ones that I coached in, because those are the ones obviously that are so much better. I've been to a bunch of since I got out of coaching, been to a bunch of the games. Certainly the once the game when still in Birmingham, Peyton and Joey Kent starting that and off with the 80-yard touchdown pass. But my favorite there'd probably be three. I was there when in '82 when the 11-game streak ended that Alabama had. Certainly that was big. But probably 1985 when Dale Jones made that interception. Tony Robinson, we'd gone up 16-0 and really playing well. We had a tremendous team. Well, that team ended up winning the Sugar Bowl, so obviously it's a tremendous team. But he got hurt, and we were kind of holding on, and Dale made a great play. That one, and then the other certainly would be the 2 years before, 1983, when the score was tied 34-34, and Johnny Jones had that 66-yard touchdown run. Those were the two that really stick out. I was at the once Tuscaloosa. Of course, we used to play all the games in Birmingham. Every game I coached in, coaching 10 of them, 5 of them were in Birmingham. I was at the 5 overtime game, whenever that was. But certainly I'd say the 85 and the 83 clearly for me, no question.
I always love story time with Coach Doug Mathews. He joins us now courtesy of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Let me just hit one thing for Tennessee fans out there. 1928. All right, let's go back to 1928.
Oh, okay.
That's when the Neyland legend and the Tennessee rivalry really started. General Neyland that was his 3rd year as head coach. Gene McEver, one of the greatest players ever to play at Tennessee, 98-yard kickoff return. Tennessee beat Alabama 15-13, and from that kind of set the tempo and put everything in place for General Neyland's great career up there, and was also from a UT's perspective the bedrock win that really got this rivalry kick-started.
Coach, when you're throwing around years like 1928 in a rivalry, that's some pretty deep-seated stuff. That's pretty good stuff.
Absolutely, and that's what this has been. Almost every coach that I've talked to involved in this rivalry, both sides, whether it be a head coach or an assistant coach. Once you're there a while, this was, and I don't know if it still is, but it was such a great rivalry from a respect standpoint. You never, even though you wanted to beat their brains in and vice versa, it was very respectful. I think a lot of that had to do because a lot of the coaches in this game were from on Alabama's side. Coach Bryant was an Alabama graduate. John Majors and Philip Fulmer were Tennessee graduates. Bowden Wyatt. They understood the game from a player's perspective and a coaching perspective, and for decades, it was a tremendous rivalry. It's not that now. For a couple of reasons. Once we went to divisional play, Florida and Georgia became probably more important. So for younger fans, probably Georgia or Florida would be maybe the main rival. But you go back before that, folks in my era, and a little bit before, and certainly a little bit after, Alabama was the game. And you all were talking about that. When I remember when I was in high school, reading and hearing about the 3rd Saturday in October, that was kind of like the Thanksgiving Day games of other places. So it was a great rivalry. I hope that it can get back to being a rivalry on the field. It has not been for many years now. Hopefully Tennessee's heading back that direction, but it's a very respected rivalry. There's a lot of players interacted, a lot of coaches and players that interacted over the years through that. Some good friends of mine are former Alabama coaches and Alabama players.
Good history lesson here from Coach Doug Mathews, brought to you by Tennessee Highway Safety Office. If you put down some drinks, put down your keys. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Yeah, Coach, before we get into the Ole Miss, let's continue the talk of Bama and what would be the recipe to beat Bama with the UT systems that they run on offense and defense. You know, they've shown that they can be run against as well.
Yeah, Blaine, you know, now I'm talking now as a fan. Now, if I was a coach up there, I would certainly feel like we would have an opportunity to beat them. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's the only way a player or a coach, if they're worth their salt, has to look at it. And there are ways of winning the game. I would say, though, that Tennessee, the likelihood of them winning this game is almost nil. Now, there's the other side of it, too. Alabama could lose it. If they go out and play sloppily, throw interceptions, lay the ball on the ground, don't think that's going to happen. But, you know, from Coach Heupel's perspective, one of the things that I've been really discussing a lot on Big Orange Sunday, he is just now in the infant stage of building a program. Nick Saban has been at Alabama for 15 years. He clearly has a great program built. So I think what Coach Heupel's got to look at, he's going to have to make this decision first. He's got probably 4 or 5 guys, key players that are beat up, somewhat injured, that probably could play. He's got an open date next week. And then, you know, you got Kentucky and Georgia. He's going to play with the week in between the 3 best teams in the Southeastern Conference record-wise: Alabama, Georgia, and Kentucky. So how he's going to approach it, I don't know. You know, he's got a quarterback that is going to be limited going up against an outstanding pressure defense. Alabama defensively pressures teams, and when I say pressure, brings linebackers and defensive backs better than any other team over the past 4 or 5 years that I've seen. Our offensive line is depleted now. Is he going to play Cade Mays? Is he going to play Cooper Mays? Is he going to play Evans? You know, don't know. But those are decisions that he'll have to make. So, you know, you want to be competitive, but you also, I think, got to be realistic. Now, I'm not sure he looks at it like that, but that's kind of the way I look at it.
Right, and that's what I want you to take us in on. How you, when you were coaching, how do you come up with the decision, and how would you play this out with knowing you have a bye week and some banged up guys? Would you risk playing them, or would you look at it and say, okay, I'm going to play some backups and I'm going to get some guys and see if they can develop and see what they can do against Alabama? How would you approach it?
Well, I was never a head coach, of course, so I didn't have to make that decision. But I think the way that I would do it, and I think the way that he'll do it, hey, you're going to go out there with your best players. And if they just absolutely cannot play, or if you have a trainer or a medical person tell you that, you know, if they play, the chances of getting injured further are this, then you certainly going to listen to that. But I think from as competitive as Josh Heupel is, you know, you don't win national championships as a starting quarterback at Oklahoma, believe me, without being competitive. I think he'll go out there and give the best shot he has. And there's some things, listen, offensively, Alabama defensively, secondary that's the least best part of their defense. Let me put it like that. It's not poor defense, but this team, offensive team at Tennessee, has shown that they can complete deep passes, and I think they will do that. Defensively, they've been playing well. I thought they had as good an effort last week, you know, holding an Ole Miss team, which was one of the highest scoring in the country, much less the Southeastern Conference, to really only 24 points. You know, they're playing very solid there. So I would suspect he's going to, again, if the trainer tells him he can play, I think he'll play him. If they tell him that they shouldn't play, obviously he won't play him.
Well, let's go to the Ole Miss game. And I guess outside of the refereeing, which you never make an excuse as a player, as a coach, but why did they lose the game? What key, you know, plays were the factor of losing this game?
Well, I think going into any SEC game, particularly for Tennessee this year, if you can get a game into the fourth quarter, and of course they had 2 where the game was over in the fourth quarter because of wins, that's what you're looking to do. And Tennessee had an opportunity. Listen, Ole Miss did not score a touchdown. They only scored one touchdown in the second half. They didn't score any in the fourth quarter. Tennessee had two really good opportunities, down 5 points, to score. And if they score, they're going to win the game. We're not able to do that. But, you go right down, what more could you ask for than to have an opportunity on the last play of the game to be able to win the game? That's kind of what you expect in a Southeastern Conference game, quite frankly. Blowouts one way or the other in SEC games are rare. And they had an opportunity to do it. I think they played really well defensively. Just think about this, Blaine. I don't know what the most snaps you ever played. Maybe you don't even know. But some of these defensive players, 4 of their 5 defensive backs played 101 snaps in this game.
Oh, that definitely did that in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. In a game?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what happens when you go Eddie left, Eddie right, Eddie left, and then you punt. Then that's how you get that.
Well,
that was early in my career.
But they they had a lot of things. They come out of this game. Ole Miss played. Listen, Ole Miss defensively played well, and Tennessee's defensively played well. 31-26 in the game that a lot of people thought would be a 45-42 ball game. Defensively played pretty darn well. Really did.
Well, I have to ask you this last question. I don't even know if you know the answer, and that is there any way that you could make some rule to prevent some of these fake cramping type injuries, or put in place to keep from a player from coming back sooner than later? I mean, how would you approach this in the off season if you're trying to address this, that make it a little more even playing field, to both sides of the ball?
Well, those discussions have been ongoing because everybody sees now the way that with these fast-paced offenses that this is going to be needed. Here's what I think will happen. Of course, Tom Ritter's on my Saturday show, and Tom is on all these committees. Todd Berry, the executive director of the American Football Coach Association, they are all in discussions about this. Blaine, I think what it's going to end up, Mickey, what it's going to end up being something like this. They will say, okay, if we have to stop the game for you to come off the field. Now, if you go off on your own power, no problem. But if we have to stop the game, if medical people have to come out there, then you're going to have to set out that entire series before you can come back. I think that's what they will get to. The reason that it's so difficult for an official to say, hey, you're flopping. Right. Well, what if they're not flopping? What if they are injured and the next play they get more injured? So the league, the Southeastern Conference, other conferences are not going to let officials do that, but they can put that rule in, which I think is a very realistic rule. You go out, we have to come out and get you, you're going to set out that series. If you have a couple of guys do that, then all of a sudden now you're down to a couple of your starters are out. But that would be the only way I think they can do it. Let me say this, though. You're going to continue seeing that happen. You're not going to see that end until they do something like that. And you know what? If I was a defensive coordinator, if I was a defensive play caller, I'd use that puppy every time I thought it could.
All the time. Yeah, no doubt about it. I guess
it's not against the rules. That's the big thing. It's not against the rules.
Real quickly, is Matt Corral on your top 3 list for Heisman?
I said Sunday on Sunday's show. I have coached against and watched 10 different Heisman Trophy winners play in Neyland Stadium. All right. He put on the most impressive performance of any visiting player, not talking about Tennessee player, that I personally have ever seen. That includes Baker Mayfield. That includes Bo Jackson. That includes Herschel Walker and several other players. Dan Marino didn't win the Heisman Trophy, but he put on a show there. I've never seen a young man do what he did. I was tremendously impressed with him. 30 carries. Now, some of that included sacks. 30 carries. And to the last play of the game for him, he was running, trying to pick up a 1st and 10 that would win the game. Greatly impressed with him.
Yeah, no question about it, because he was out. 2 of his best receivers didn't even play. So, yeah, that was pretty impressive to find another way to win the game, and that was to use his legs like that. We're on with the Coach Doug Mathews.
Coach, I know we talk a lot of ball with you. Before we go, I just Do you have any thoughts on what might happen or what might happen down the road with a potential settlement with Jeremy Pruitt's law team? You know, they sent the letter and said we're going to release a bunch more ugly stuff about a bunch of people if y'all don't settle with us. You got any kind of gut feeling on what might happen there?
No. Well, yes, I have a gut feeling. I thought at one point that now this was 4 or 5 months ago that Tennessee likely would settle. From everything I'm hearing from people in the room up there, I think this chancellor has basically said we're not going to pay him a penny. And I think most Tennessee fans and even non-Tennessee fans know this. The lawyer coming out and saying something like that, and made it sound like what tell anybody that know. And I was really impressed that Rick Barnes quickly got out a letter on saying, hey, bring, how can a guy that I knew up there throw this stuff out there about our basketball program? Right. I don't think there's anything at all to it. Do I think that there's some more things that the NCAA violations that occurred? Yeah, I do. But I tell you what, they were caused by Jeremy Pruitt, nobody else. So I don't think there's anything to this. So I don't think much will come to it. But it, a little surprising from that standpoint. But I guess in other ways, maybe not. But don't think there's much to it. And again, I could very well be wrong on this. I believe if he's going to get any money out of Tennessee, he is indeed going to have to go to court. I don't think Tennessee's going to settle for one penny on this. I really don't.
Wow. Coach, thank you for the time. People, again, you referenced the other shows, Football Saturday, Big Orange Sunday. We're like the appetizer for the two main courses over the weekend, Coach. Thanks for the time, as always. Always love talking to you.
Good enough. Talk to you all next week.
Yes, sir. Coach. Tennessee Highway Safety Office putting Coach Doug Mathews on the air. When we come back, who didn't practice today for the Titans? We got that. Also, I got interested maybe what this game might look like on Sunday from a Mahomes perspective, and I got a couple of numbers I can share with you. It's Blaine and Mickey, 104.5. This is
Mahomes.
The Titans are out for some revenge against the AFC champion Chiefs, and you know what payback is.
You are a genius, my good sir.
The Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff starts Sunday morning at 9 on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
Brett Kern.
Whoa. We just cut the punter. He wasn't there?
He better get back.
Oh.
And the other guy's not here anymore. There's nobody to punt.
Who's the emergency punter?
Who's the emergency? For a while, I think Cam Batson was the emergency quarterback. Well, we know we don't have that anymore around
he
there.
may still be in town at the apartment complex over there they built over there. Nice one over there.
Oh, you think he's quarantined over there in an apartment complex?
Yeah, don't leave real soon. We just hold on a sec.
Well, if Kern needs a place punting,
With
like come
Townsend.
over and punt in the common
I
area.
think like high school football, it's your best athlete is the punter, and he just takes off if he has to.
Kern, there was a time where like the best players on a team were Delaney Walker and Jarrell and Kern. And then Delaney, his career kind of wore down with injuries, and Jarrell got traded away. Kern has been the MVP, the MVP punter. That dude's a weapon. So I hope this COVID thing gets well, and he gets well, but he wasn't spotted at practice. A.J. Brown not spotted at practice.
Oh, my gosh.
Derrick Henry, King gets to rest.
Oh, I'm not worried.
You were like, hey, man, fan him, feed him grapes. He doesn't need to practice. Monty Rice, Taylor Lewan, who's in a concussion protocol, Chester Rogers, returning to practice.
Chester Rogers wasn't practicing. I like key components. Maybe they were giving him a rest day.
Could be.
I remember if ever been.
Oh, no. I made a note from yesterday. What was on the injury list?
He wasn't on there.
Chester Rogers was on there, didn't practice Wednesday as G to the Rizoin, his groin.
Oh.
Groins.
Yeah.
It all goes back to groins.
All these muscle strains, they not stretching their groin.
Well, you're our abductus longus expert, which is part of the groinal region. Do you need to go down there and teach some kind of groin maintenance class? You need to go down there and teach some kind of groin maintenance class?
I didn't tear my abductus longus till I was a senior. I mean, a 10-year guy.
That counts as a senior.
So then as you get up in the mid-30s, they start saying, uh-oh.
All right, you want good news?
Man, that was not. Besides Henry, man, I think I need I need some electronical stem right now. It just tightened up. My neck just went and I felt my shoulders pull up. I got nervous.
Okay,
to have all their weapons around Lewan.
Imagine.
Dang, he got a concussion though.
He did get he got it. That
can't fight through like a concussion, but you can like a knee injury.
This is a short week too, so I wouldn't get too excited about that. Okay, here I have good news though. If you want the good news, returning to practice, Julio Jones.
Okay, but AJ Brown wasn't today. We can't get them on the field together in no time.
Apparently, there's like they're the magnet, like the parts of the magnets that repel each other instead of attract. So Julio Jones returned. Bullock, the kicker who had hurt his shoulder.
Oh, Keith Bullock.
No, unfortunately, the other Bullock, Randy. McNichols came back. That's super good news. And this is good news. Chris Jackson is back.
Oh, well.
Action Jackson.
Yeah, well, he had to be back because he did.
Hey, man, if there's nobody else, you better get back.
Yeah, I think all right. You can fight through all that. I wouldn't say just jog around, but just be ready on Sunday. Because I need all hands, men, legs, feet on deck versus my homies and crew.
All groins on deck.
Yeah, you better make sure you get some electronical stem to the groin.
You can't hook that thing up down there, though, can you? You said you put it everywhere.
Yeah, on your inner thigh?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want electric current
that electric current. No. Don't let it get too close. That's the key. Yeah. Yes, unfortunately, you got to make sure you shave around that area. No, I'm talking about on your leg because if not, those sticky things are going to hurt. Where so this FYI.
What's Blaine doing after practice? So he's in there shaving his inner thighs to get it.
Quietly as it's kept, you get to find all the truths today. I would shave up to my shin because I got tired of my hair getting pulled off on my calf, shin area.
Down to your shin?
No, I would shave
for your
up
tape and stuff.
For the tape, getting your ankles taped.
Okay.
I got, man, dang it, this stuff hurts. And then they put it on there like plaster. Then it was like, I can't even get it off.
Plaster.
Yeah. Plaster,
all right.
Yeah, plaster, man. So you do a lot of things you never thought you would do. And it looked really weird. I'm shaved up to, to my calf. And then I got hair all over my knee. I was like, I might as well just shave it all the way up. Good Lord. That looked horrible in shorts, man.
Let's quickly pivot here.
Pivot from shaving groin.
So, yes. Yes. These people get picked up.